Okay, Allison, I got you on as a co-presenter, so you're ready. Okay.
Great.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Christina Osceolo. I am a franchise specialist with FranNet. Thank you all for attending our Lunch and Learn. We have two presenters that are going to explain about their children's music businesses. But before they begin, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about FranNet and some franchising facts. I'm going to mute all the lines because it's very noisy.
The conference has been muted.
Okay. Sorry about that. Many people are looking for a business that can thrive in any economy. I get asked all the time, what is the most popular franchise? So we are looking for those few businesses that can thrive now and down the road. I'm sorry, I messed that up. I was on the wrong slide. I apologize about that. It was this slide. Many people are looking for businesses that can thrive in any economy. So as I said, we are looking for those businesses that can thrive now and down the road. So right now we see healthcare and senior care markets as one of the strongest markets out there. Your census data that goes out every 3 years says that 25% of the population is over 65 and 25% is under 25. You have your residential repair. People aren't buying new homes, they're repairing the current ones. Old people can't, young people don't know how. There's dual income households that don't have the time. There's also child development and education, also driven by demographics. There's also your essential services like your hair care. You have your supercuts who charge $15 for a haircut, or your automotive. People are fixing their cars and keeping them a lot longer. There's your damage restoration. Your houses gets damaged. There's mold, smoke, damage, fire. When this happens, someone needs to clean it up. Homeowners call the insurance company. There's also your business centers and IT services, all to help develop small businesses. Some of these businesses can also be done semi-absentee. Franchising isn't just fast food and retail. Just some overall facts on franchising. There are over 3,000 different franchise companies in more than 80 industries with over 900,000 operating units. Some popular categories would be pet care, cleaning, retail, and IT services. Can you make a burger? I can, and it will be a lot better. It's not the product. It's all about the business systems. When you purchase a franchise, you purchase the marketing, sales, and operating systems. You do this so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can focus on building the business. Some people think franchising is very expensive. You have some that are $50,000 to $100,000, like your education and healthcare. These can be run from home, few employees. Then you have your $100,000 to $250,000, which would include some retail, auto, and some food. And some could go as high as $500,000, like your big food franchises, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. So how much do I need? Oh, this did not come up. Okay. Typically, you would need to put 25 to 30% down on the business. We do provide some financing options, whereas you could use your 401k or get an SBA loan. Now, why these slides are not moving? At the end of the day, it's all about finding a franchise that's the best fit for you. You want to look at your 5, 10, 15-year goals and use franchising as a tool to help you get to your lifestyle and financial goals. I'm going to wrap it up. This is my contact information. If you would like further information on either one of these businesses, I would need you to fill out your personal franchise assessment. The franchisor would then be able to give you further information on their business. If I already have an assessment, I would put you in touch with the franchisor immediately. I will be following up with everyone and sending them the video recording. I will also email you the link to my assessment. Please hold all your questions to the end. Now I'm going to introduce you to Chris and Allison as they present our first business, which is a rock and music program for kids. Guys, give me 1 second. I have to unmute you.
The conference has been unmuted. The conference has been unmuted.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about our business model. And we thought we'd switch this up a little bit and start with a little educational video on our brand to give you an idea on who we are and what we do, and then we'll dive into some slides to really break down the video. So I'm going to go ahead and click over to the next slide. There we go.
Songs for Seeds is a rockin' kids music program. It's led by 3 musicians, a guitarist, keyboardist, and drummer.
Have you been to Songs for Seeds? It is the most
playing in front of my screen.
hour
Everybody else
of
seeing it
my
right
week.
now.
The music's very catchy.
As soon as the band kicks in, the kids just light up.
I think I was the #1 groupie.
One of my most favorite aspects of working and owning Apple Seeds is the reaction of Songs for Seeds families to the class.
My 9-month-old loved it as much as my 2-year-old, as much as my 4-year-old, and all 3 of my children could be in the same class.
It's his favorite thing, and every single night after dinner, we get a Songs for Seeds concert.
They pack every minute with information.
Songs for Seeds is made up of 9 unique sections that are not just about music. They include playing with the band and singing with the band and learning animal sounds and learning a number of the week and going around the world and hearing songs from different cultures. It is an all-encompassing class for children that goes well beyond music.
I noticed at a very early age, he grasped the concepts of color, shapes, numbers, animals, and we talk about the animal wheel at home. That's his absolute favorite part of Songs for Seeds.
What is this animal right here?
Anytime you're pretending to be an animal with kids, that's just, you can't really go wrong. The magic number is big.
Sickity wickety do. I have some magic for you.
As far as the Songs for Seeds musicians go, they're amazing.
You sit there as a mom, and you just know that they just, had a fabulous concert in Brooklyn last night.
Songs for Seeds is by far Apple Seeds' most popular class, with thousands of kids having taken it around the New York City area.
After 5 years of taking Songs for Seeds with my kids, I am still just as excited when I walk in the door. I have just as much fun hearing all of those songs and playing out all of the activities. It never gets old.
The beauty of the music of Songs for Seeds is that it's really not just for kids. We have plenty of parents tell us that they enjoy the music as well.
The songs are so catchy. They stay with you throughout the rest of the week. Years later, I can still sing every song. Song for Seeds.
I got all my friends with me. All my friends with me.
Songs for Seeds. You go the high note.
The one thing I'm sure of is that you will not be disappointed. We know that this class will knock it out of the park in every community in America.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so this is Allison, Chris's partner in crime. I'm one of the 4 founders of Apple Seeds and Songs for Seeds, and just to give you perspective, I was the last one in the video that said this program, as a franchisee, you will knock it out of the park. We truly believe that, and I'll start just with a little bit of a brief overview. If you were listening to the video, I hope the volume was okay for everyone. It kind of explained what the class is, but just to review it briefly again, it's a music program for children newborn to 6 years old, so really those early childhood development years, the years before kindergarten. And it was created by Appleseeds, which is an all-in-one place based in New York City that's been around for 9 years. We have 3 Manhattan locations and an international location. And this is our music program that we're franchising. That music program was voted Best of New York several times, and we have thousands and thousands of kids that have taken this class, so we feel comfortable and ready to expand it across the country. The class itself is a live 3-piece rock band, so we have a guitarist, a keyboardist, and a drummer. It is a semester-based class curriculum, so we run 12 or 16-week semesters, depending on what each individual town would warrant in terms of the competition. And we have unique themes each week. So you could conceivably take this class every week for 2 years and never have a repeat experience. The class itself runs in sections, 9 sections, and those sections repeat for the predictability of the way children learn. But each section, the meat of each section, is netted out for something different. So we have a new animal each week, but the animal section appears in the same place every time, for example. We travel to a new country every week, but that global culture section appears in the same place every time. So the kids they understand and know the class and really get to know it well, but they're experiencing something new every week. We have a separate babies curriculum for the class, given it's a rocking music program. We take it down a little bit with a babies class, and we also have much more age-appropriate activities for the newborn to 12-month-old set. And we also have a great additional source of revenue for this program in the form of birthday parties, events, and concerts. And those are something that we can dive into deeper later in questions and answers. The franchise opportunity here is really, I think, just to go through some of the key points. The business itself, we've converted our classroom into what we're calling a roadie box. It's basically a kiosk mobile unit that you would have one per location. And it is everything you could possibly want and need in this class. We have had 3 or 4 different versions of this to make this the most kind of representation of the class in the way we see it. It's a gorgeous unit with everything you could want, every supply in the back, and then the kids would see the front with the magnetic walls and the animal wheels and all the things that it takes to run this class. The cost of entry for this franchise is a low cost. It's the item 7's under $100,000. And probably the most amazing thing about Songs for Seeds that we've heard from a lot of our current franchisees and potential franchisees is that there is no retail location required for this franchise, which means there is no lease, there's no built out, the capital intensive nature of that experience does not exist for a Songs for Seeds franchise. It really is based in a partnership where you will run the space. We can get to that a little later. There are no full-time employees required for the Songs for Seeds franchise either, which is a huge deal. You have 3 musicians, but they're working on a part-time basis, and that is, of course, if you just have one location. As you add locations, you can certainly offer them full-time opportunities. High profit margin and a very highly scalable business. We already have our Scarsdale franchisee open last Tuesday and is looking for her second location due to her instant success. So highly scalable and quick success for the ones we've experienced. It is a turnkey business, which means basically that we have everything you need to run this program in a box, and literally a roadie box. The comprehensive software platform that we provide organizes the franchisees from day one. That means it helps with refunds, with makeups. If you have 3 children taking the class, one is sick, one is out, we help schedule, we help with classrooms, we help with the teacher scheduling. It is everything you need to know with clicks of a button, and we do the intensive training here in New York City on how to run that software, but it's all in a package for you. We also have a very easy-to-use marketing portal, which provides you with your promotional materials you'll need, your staff apparel, any of your office needs. With clicks of a button, like online shopping basically, you put it into a cart, and everything you would want for the business is in that marketing portal, so that you don't have to reinvent a lot of things. It's already done for you. We also have a very comprehensive customer feedback retention system, which is an online system that allows you to directly touch your customers and hear halfway through their semester and at the end of the semester exactly what they're experiencing. It's done on a 1 to 10 scale, and we have a 24-hour turnaround on feedback to the customer. So we are very proud of our score, and we'll get to that a little later, but this is something that every franchisee would have to be able to directly touch the customer and understand what's going on as it's happening. Perhaps the most amazing part is our week-long intensive hands-on training program. We just completed this in August for our September opening of our franchise, and I can say with certainty, and as I think the four of us can all say this, that you whenever you're starting a business, you always go in thinking, is this replicable? Is this scalable? How will other people take our brand and share it in their cities? Will this work? And what we saw were 3 musicians come together who had never met before, and in 4 days put on 3 demo classes to our existing Songs for Seeds audience. These are very highly discerning families who know this class inside and out, and evaluate these 3 musicians who had just come together and gone through our training program. And the feedback was remarkable. The classes were as if they had been doing it for weeks, if not months. And it was my personal light bulb moment on the replicability of this program and how successful and how quick we could get this up and running for our franchisees. The owner advantages to why you would even choose a Songs for Seeds is obvious, and it obviously depends on what you want for your life, but this kind of business offers a part-time schedule. Our existing franchisee has her full-time job as a producer in New York City, a very intense full-time job, and still is able to run this business part-time. There is no musical experience needed, although several of our potential franchisees do come with musical experience simply because they're interested, but it is absolutely not required. For example, the 4 of us are music lovers, but no one is by any means a musician. There are multi-unit ownership opportunities, and actually the ability to go to scale quickly is one of the highlights of this franchise. So the multi-unit ownership opportunity is something that we would discuss right from the get-go for leverage sake and scalability reasons. It's owner-operated or manager-run, so if you yourself want to run this franchise, we have that model as an example, but it is also very possible to hire a manager to run this business for you. It's also recession resistant. In the 2008 dip that we saw 7 years ago, we can say with certainty that we barely saw it here in our business. And the fact of that is people really don't stop spending money on their children, and that is something that I think any children's business, including our partner who's on the phone with us, might agree to. It's a really amazing business to be in those times. And most importantly for us as founders, I think owning a successful business while making a positive contribution in the community is something that made us start it, Appleseeds, and then ultimately Songs for Seeds. But I can promise you that this is the kind of franchise where you will feel the building of community around you, and pleasing families and parents coming in and wanting to come back, and kids saying the names of the rock stars and the musicians. These are really their first rock stars in their homes, and making a difference in the lives of children in a way that we never anticipated 7 years ago when we began Songs for Seeds. But I've heard over and over and over again from our parents that we're making a big difference, not just to their individual children, but in the community itself. The next slide, we have our franchise training and support. So we have 3 buckets we see it in. We have an onboarding process, which is very intense immediately after signing, and we handhold the entire process, from setting up your company to training you in technology. We help hire the band. We actually conducted the auditions for those locally. If I think a lot of the people on the phone are from near the New York City area, and because we're early in our franchising, this is really important to us, and we will not leave anybody high and dry out there finding it on their own. Also finding your location. I was actually just out in Denver helping them find their location or decide it. And so these are not things that you'll be doing in a box. Our onboarding process is very, very intense with one of the 4 of us, if not all of us, including our managers here in New York headquarters. Scheduling your classes is done during that time, and marketing as well. In fact, that was the call I just got off before I joined this call. Training. Training I mentioned, it's a week-long intensive program. The administrator and the musicians both come to training at the same time, and we have it organized in a 5-day system where the musician comes to the table with having already understood the music, and when they're here, they're learning the transitions and the flows of the class. The administrator is learning everything from classroom management to software to everything you would need to know. So when you leave on Friday, you are ready to run this program in your city. Resources include operation manual. We have a dedicated website. We have lots of social media, as I mentioned, portal for marketing collateral, customer feedback system, direct access to anyone here in New York in terms of marketing, and of course direct access to the 4 of us as your executive team. The next slide shows you a brief example of what the Roadie Box looks like. The Roadie Box is a high-end construction. It's custom designed. Interior storage compartments is behind the Roadie Box, so you can't see them, but they're drawers with everything you need for the class to run: magic tricks, shapes for the shape section, animals for the animal section, kid instruments, you name it. We white glove deliver this to the desired franchisee location in a certain amount of time before classes begin. And we have a complete fulfillment package with band equipment, soundboard, and everything you need. So it all comes together as soon as you become a franchisee. Some of the target locations we mentioned earlier, one of the biggest advantages of having a Songs for Seeds is that you don't need the brick and mortar space, the headaches of a lease or a build out. Is developing a relationship with a target location where you think this class could run. And some examples include kids' play spaces, community centers, synagogues, churches, preschools. Our Scarsdale operation is in a synagogue. Our Denver operation will be in a toy store, for example. So it runs the gamut of where you could hold them. The key is that you need about 600 to 800 square foot of space and a little bit of storage space for this Roadie Box, and a relationship that works. And we will help, once again, from headquarters in helping the franchisee decide what is best based on financially what is best for the franchisee, but also what is best for the community. The next slide is a technology slide. I'll go through this quickly because this would be something we would do in training, but we customized this software. It took us 8 years to build the proprietary technology that allows you to run this class. The point of sale, the financial reporting, e-commerce, class rosters, everything you need in one comprehensive software package. Our marketing resources are many, but we're going to highlight the Listen 360 one, which is that customer feedback software I mentioned. And the reason why is what it does is it captures your Net Promoter Score, which a lot of businesses have, and the average U.S. business has a 19 to 35% range. 70% score is considered the best in class, and those are companies like Apple or Amazon or Google. Songs for Seeds and Apple Seeds have an NPS of 69%, so we're right up there where we feel very proud to share this with our potential partners and franchisees. This is a program that not just we're saying is great, but this is a direct example that our customers cannot get enough. In terms of Songs for Seeds specifically, we see 10 after 10 after 10 in the scoring of what their experience is. And again, we check in with them mid-semester and at the end of the semester. This is something our franchisees would be able to do as well, which is really important in terms of changing course or changing teachers or anything you might need to do to keep your customers happy, because this is ultimately what this is about. Some of the awards we've received is just here. If you want to talk about this more, please ask in a Q&A. And then, of course, our contact information. I did want to say that our national research firm that we hired to help us understand, is this a franchisable concept? Just because it works in New York City, will it work in cities and towns across America? And we had a year-long study with qualitative and quantitative data that showed us in leaps and bounds that communities across the country are indeed looking for exactly this concept. In fact, the statistician who ran the study for us has been doing this for 40 years. And to quote him directly, he said that in terms of 4 things: the appeal of this, the purchase intent, the perceived value of our brand, and the uniqueness of our brand, that this was a top 10 concept that he has seen in the 40 years he's been doing this business. Once again, validating our gut that we know this program works so well in New York City, but we're ready to take it to kids across the country. Thank you so much for your time, and I think if Chris has anything to add, and I know, Christine, you wanted us to wait for the questions till the end.
Questions at the end. Chris, do you have anything to add?
No, let's go ahead and just turn it over just so we can have the Bach Rock guys get through theirs and we can open it up to everyone.
Okay, well, thank you, Allison, very much. I will now hand it over to Ralph, who is going to explain about the children's music school that he has.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for taking time to join us as well. Please pardon my voice. I'm nursing a cold right now, so I'll try to get through this. My name is Ralph Rowan. I am the VP of Franchise Development for Bach Rock. The music industry is interesting right now. As we look around the country, what you see is a very traditional model. And based on that traditional model, which I'll get into in just a minute, we decided to come up with our own proprietary curriculum. So we believe that with that curriculum, we are an industry game changer. Our curriculum really cannot be duplicated. It's great for the semi-absentee or multi-unit owner, investor, which we have many in our system today. And, of course, being that it's children and music, it's a pretty fun business to be around. As I mentioned, as we looked coast to coast, what you see in the music instruction world is a very traditional model, and that is either musicians driving door-to-door delivering instruction, or the neighborhood person who's teaching piano that you bring your child to, or a host of music school chains that sell equipment and maybe have a few rooms in the back to deliver music instruction. That model is basically every one of those instructors pretty much doing their own thing. So unless you're musically inclined, or if you're a musician yourself and you're hiring an instructor for your child, how would you really know if that instructor is any good? Maybe you got a referral from a neighbor or a friend, but there really is no way to hold them accountable for how well they're teaching your child. At this place in time, we've seen that music's probably never been more central to popular culture. If you look at a lot of the top shows on television, many of them are music and entertainment related. Coincidentally, at this time, public schools from coast to coast, are cutting budgets. And the first thing to go is music and arts. So it's an interesting time in that music is never more central, but schools are cutting budgets. So as a result of that, parents are having to go outside of the school system and pay for this service. Our product offering really is what separates us. We are called Bach to Rock for a reason. We teach everything from classical music all the way to pop and rock and everything in between. And I'm talking about country, R&B, you name it, we teach it. The only students we might turn away would be that child who, after we've evaluated him or her, look at them as a bit of a prodigy. And that child probably should belong in a conservatory. But that would probably be the only person we would turn away. Our offering does include, and at the heart of our curriculum is individual lessons. Let me run you through this. We believe that everyone should get individual lessons. We then believe that we want to segue those kids, as many of them as possible, into bands, groups, choirs, whatever their genre might be. And I'll give you a clumsy analogy. If your child is learning how to play basketball and they're shooting baskets in the driveway in front of the house, they are learning how to shoot, but they're really not learning how to play the game. They're not learning how to play defense. They're not learning how to pass. They're not learning how to run plays. Music is the same concept. You become a much better musician when you're playing in groups. Not only do you learn the social aspect of that group nature, but you're learning how to perform with other people. And there's a lot of nuance in that. So at the core of our curriculum, each student gets individual lessons. They're put into groups and choirs. They get recording studio time as part of the curriculum. We have a performance space in each one of our schools. It's about 400 to 500 square feet with a stage and lighting, so they get used to performing on stage. And then once we feel they're comfortable, then we put them out into public to perform at a variety of public venues. We are an educationally based model, meaning that we believe that if parents are going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars over years for their students, the least they can do is learn how to write and read music. We also provide birthday parties in our locations, actually quite a few of those, literally several a day through the weekend. It's a great and fun way for parents to find a new birthday party option for their child, and it also feeds the business. It's not unusual for a birthday party consisting of 15 to 20 kids, where some of those kids then want to become full-time students as a result of that experience. And in the summertime, we run tons of summer camps. Again, profitable, great revenue generator, but it also feeds the business because those kids, as a result of that experience, a lot of those kids go on to be full-time students as well. What we've also learned as a result, and I mentioned earlier, with school slashing budgets, parents are spending more than ever for their children. In our demographic, which tends to be upper middle income, we find that parents look at what we offer as enrichment for their children, and they are willing and able to invest in their children. And in the hierarchy of expenses, they won't be out buying a new car before they provide for their kids. We've learned that through data studies. Another key trigger is that music instrument ownership is rising. Since 1997, when we have the data, 20% more people own music instruments than they did in 1997. We are a brick and mortar facility, and we tend to want to be in a Class A retail location, a well-anchored strip mall where there are other types of businesses that tend to draw our moms and dads. The reason is 1/3 of our revenue is generated through simple walk-in. So a parent goes to the grocer, another retail business in the center, they see our sign, they see our window signage, they pop their head in the door, or they make a note of it and they call us or email us later. So 1/3 of our revenue, which is why you'll never see a box of rock hidden away in an industrial park or behind a big oak tree. The rent's a little higher in this scenario, but we look at that as a marketing spend as a result of getting that extra 1/3 of revenue. The model has been built for the semi-absentee owner. We do have a few, make that 2, owners in our system who have decided to be owner-operators, and that's fine. That model works as well, but it has been built based on multi-unit ownership. We opened our first location, our first franchise location, about 3 years ago on Long Island. We're based out of the D.C. area, by the way, but we opened our first on Long Island, and the owners actually purchased 6 territories on the island. People ask me all the time, what type of person are we looking for? Well, as we talk to our franchise owners, and we have executed 34 franchise agreements to date, everywhere from California to Texas, North Carolina, here in Maryland, Virginia, Arizona, just to name a few areas, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. As we ask our owners what they liked about the business, why they decided to move forward, we hear the same 3 answers over and over. And I think it applies to you as you're evaluating this. Number one, I think you have to like the fact that it is a community-based business, because that's what it is. You become the music guy or gal in your community. You're the one that's helping kids learn how to play music. And parents know you for that. 2, I think you have to like music. Half of our owners are musicians, but half are not. But everyone likes music. So I don't think you can not like music and be a Bach rock owner. Thirdly, and most importantly, I think you have to like wanting to help kids. The feel-good component of this business is awesome. From watching kids coming as beginners, developing to become very good musicians, to watching kids come in who really haven't found their identity yet, and they find it via music. It's quite rewarding. And again, most of our owners own other businesses, so it fits right in with their aspiration to be semi-absentee ownership. Bach to Rock, in terms of how we market it, it's a little different than your traditional business. Not much print advertising. That tends to be a little expensive and a little unpredictable. So our marketing efforts really are through the internet, through search engine optimization. Having our kids perform in public events is really great for the kids. It's great for their experience, but it's also great advertising and marketing for each location. And mommy blogs. In our markets, mommy blogs are big. It's a network that people share information and go for information, and we're very active on those mommy blogs. In the New York, New Jersey areas, we have some prime markets still available. You see them there, Bergen County, Rockland County, Mercer, Hudson, and so forth. And we have the demographics to support those markets. So if we start with talk, I'll be happy to share those with you. Our investment ranges from $370,000 to just over $500,000. Our franchise fee is $35,000, and the ongoing royalty is 7%. By the way, of the total investment, most of it is the build-out. We, being in Class A retail, unless you have an end cap, you might have neighbors on both sides. So there's a fair amount of soundproofing that goes on. From a business perspective, we are on the auto pay business model, meaning that our parents pay 1 month at a time in advance. 93-point-something% of our parents pay by credit card. So you would literally hold a credit card on file, and they'd get parents would get an email about the 25th of the month saying we're going to hit your card on the 1st or the 2nd. Unless you tell us differently, we will do that. So you get your money up front, and just at that point becomes a cash management situation. We would train you on how to do that. It's also a recurring revenue model. Kids stay with us a long time. It's not a situation where kids come in for a month and they leave. It's not that at all. Kids stay with us for a long period of time. As a result of the auto pay and recurring revenue, you really should not have any account receivables. You're going to have a very small percentage paying by check or cash, less than 7%. And if you have account receivable, it's only because maybe you've let someone slide a little bit. We also have a proprietary back office contact management system that handles all your scheduling. It collects all of your revenue, so it generates reports so you can see your school per student, per age, per program, and it does work with QuickBooks to send your revenue there and balance it out with all your expenses. And we do have a extensive training program, two sections, one for the owner, one for the manager. We call that person a director. You would also participate in that. Just a quick view of our current financial position when it comes to our unit economics. If you look at the bottom line, bottom right there, that's the EBITDA before rent. And rent is typically, in our budget, somewhere between $60,000 and $90,000 a year. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm open for questions to either one of the franchisors. Anyone have any questions? Okay, I'll help out here. Do either one of you help with financing?
Yeah, we talk about, so for Songs for Seeds, is we have partners that are all third party. So as a great example is with our investment under $100,000, most people are either going to do a rollover situation from their 401k or a signature loan program, because they're very easy to put those in place within a few days, and we've actually had a few loans approved within 3 days. So it happens pretty quick with us, but it's all third party.
Yeah, Bottrock's the same. We are on the approved SBA registry, and we're finding that owners are getting a combination of either SBA financing and or retirement fund rollovers as well.
Okay. I guess this would be for you, Ralph. Who helps with the real estate?
It's a good question. So we're still small, and so what we do is we actually fly to each market. We tour the market with our owner, sharing all the knowledge and all the learnings we have to date about the nuances of a good retail space. We don't force the owner to take a particular space, but we share a lot of information with them to help them make the right decision. It's going to be a 10-year lease, so it's a big decision, and you want to make the right one there, so we are very involved.
Okay. How do the franchisees find good employees?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, Ralph.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say the good news is there are gazillions of musicians out there, and a lot of them are still performing. They're not getting rich anytime soon doing that, so they're always looking to supplement their income. So the labor pool is huge. Now, there is a vetting process. Not every teacher or musician is qualified to be a Bach rock teacher, so we have a tool that we use to evaluate them, and of course all musicians have to withstand a background check. We are in rooms with children.
And I would add a similar, we have a three-piece rock band, so what's obviously important is that they're musicians, but perhaps more important is their experience with level of patience and tolerance of working with children, and that's something that we can talk with our franchisees about, and what types of auditions we're looking for, and what are the qualities in those people. Our musicians that we have in New York City have nighttime bands, they have gigs going on, so we offer them steady pay during the day, and in an opportunity where they're actually able to hone their craft. So they're not getting steady pay at a legal office or as a temp so they can play in their bands at night. They're actually honing their skills in the day, getting steady pay, and able to perform. So they don't leave. They love this job. And we built a camaraderie and a team spirit with our band that they enjoy coming to work because they have made friends and colleagues, and they play on each other's CDs. And it's a really nice community for a young musician to join into.
Okay. Are you open to anyone coming to see a class?
Of course. We have classes running Monday through Friday at our 3 New York City locations. So anytime anyone wants to come in, we can absolutely send you a schedule, Christine, and you can provide it to them. And one of the 4 of us, if not all 4 of us, if we're here, would be able to meet and greet them as well, and sit through the class to explain it.
Okay. Chris, I know you and your wife just became franchisees with Songs for Seeds. Why don't you mention why you were excited to move forward?
The big thing for us was truly the opportunity, because there's nothing like it here in Denver. We used to live in the Northeast, and after having little ones, ended up back in Denver getting closer to Grandma. And when we learned what other types of music programs are out there available to newborns, to 6-year-olds, there's just nothing along the lines with what a Songs for Seeds can give to a community. So it was pretty exciting for us when we became approved franchisees, because we can talk about every single aspect of the business, because we're right in the middle of it now. And it was right for what we were looking for, under $100,000. Our item 19 shows an income of over $100,000, so it validates in the system. And just seeing how quickly things ramp up was truly, truly the most important part for us, because of what Shannon can get back to the community with the business, but more importantly, how we can grow the business model and scale to multiple locations quickly, just because of all the different items that we talked about earlier. We're incredibly excited to talk about the business.
Great. Last question. How long does it take to find the real estate before the grand opening? I guess that would be you, Ralph.
Yeah, we usually allow for about 90 days. Some owners have found it quicker, some a little longer. It is a variable. Sometimes you have to be patient to find that right location. So, what about 90 days?
I want to add one to that, because we do have the real estate component to ours as well. Is we actually have candidates go through in our education process to identify potential locations, and not approach them, but just let's list everything out during the process. What's been great about this is now with a few franchisees, they were able to secure a shared facility out of the first 2 locations that both of them looked into. So by using our talking points and getting them in front of people, the idea behind this is get them open within 2 to 3 months, and that's exactly what we're identifying and finding already with ours as well.
Okay, excellent. Anyone else have any other questions? No?
John, I guess a question to both of them, and looking at both, first, thank you for the presentations. I'm just curious, each one of you, I guess, can answer. You both hit on it. I just wonder if you can expand on it. Do you look at your franchisees, I guess, Songs for Seeds, I would say, it seems to me more likely than not the franchisee would be perhaps one of the musicians. I guess where I'm driving at is, would the role of the franchisees in both be more of a musician or more managing musicians and managing the process versus maybe being the actual performance or performer or teacher, so to speak? And I realize you both hit on this. You both seem to hit on this a little bit, but maybe just expand a little bit on some of the experiences or what you find. And then I guess I would ask that to the person that just spoke about Denver. They ramped up fast, I heard. I can hear the enthusiasm. Is that contribution to community, are you doing that also as more of a performer or managing performers?
I would love to tell you that I could hold a guitar and know how to play it, but I have no idea how to even do that. So, other than watching Bon Jovi videos back in the 80s and saying, wow, that looks cool, I have no clue how to do anything else with it. And as much as my wife would like to tell you she's musical, she's not either. So the idea behind this is really managing that band and ensuring that they're following the class schedule, and that's what's so great about the training programs, is we're absolutely going to manage the business. We're not going to be running the business on a day-to-day basis. That's what the band is for.
So really, you're spending the time setting up the band and then having a backup for the band because, truthfully, they are musicians and there's such a thing called musician time. And sure that that's all part of the aspect of managing that.
It is, and what Shannon will end up doing with this is she's literally following the playbook step by step, page by page to put all those right marketing programs in place. So she's out there talking to the different schools, the different community centers, just different parents and different families at different children's events that we're already going to anyway. And our website, I mean, again, we've been in the system less than 3 weeks, but her website will be live this week. We've already got commitments from multiple families to sign their children up. So she'll start pre-selling classes over the next month, month and a half here, which makes this attractive for a lot of families because we'll start driving in revenue before she has one class. So then right as you start those classes, you're already at a positive cash flow, which again makes it exciting because she can absolutely follow the marketing playbook step by step, drive in revenue, and then we put the band in place. It's kind of fun to say we're rocking and rolling, but then we truly are. We're rocking and rolling with the program.
And the marketing is driving the customer base, and I assume Bacca Rock probably has something and does something similar as well, although you mentioned your retail location drives a third of it too. So.
Yeah, it really is. Just to touch on it for a second, we hire a manager. We call that person a director, and this person's running your operation day to day. And they're managing the teachers. All the teachers are employees, but they're all part-time employees. And you are managing the director via one weekly meeting, and that means probably a couple of hours. And then we teach you how to pull reports on a web-based proprietary back-office system so you can look at the metrics of the business to determine if it's running properly. And we will share with you system averages so you can compare your school as it's ramping up to the system. But honestly, as an owner, we would want you to be out in the community, driving awareness to the business. Whether meeting with PTAs or introducing yourself to the music director at middle schools and high schools, just letting them know who you are and where you are and what you do. And that awareness will help your business ramp up. Thank you. You're welcome. Good question.
Okay, anyone else have any other questions? Okay, well, I thank everyone, the presenters, and I thank everyone that attended for taking the time out. I will follow up with all of you. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thanks, Christine. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Christine.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.